Hey guys, it's the Wrestling Ranter, and today we finally hit you with a little bit of that Wrestlemania review. But I'm not coming alone, I brought somebody special. You're gonna find out right after the intro. Here we go! It's me, the man who likes to orient, and we're here to drop a brand new VID for you today. And the topic of choice must be, Wrestlemania.
That was scary.
I know, right?
Yeah, highly scary. Not about as bad as your face, maybe, but, you know.
Not just as bad as sitting through a 7-hour-long show.
This is very true. Or listening to you, take a squadouche in my bathroom over there.
You're just afraid because of what'll happen afterwards.
Yeah, or I might just be jealous because I can't produce turds that big.
Speaking of things that are considered shit,
Yes.
how about the Cruiserweight division?
Oh.
Maybe the purple belt has finally gotten on track?
Asterisk.
We hope, Cedric.
It depends on what Vince wants to do with it from this point out, too.
Oh, Jesus, he's colored. He's got no chance.
So what do you think for a title reign? 3 weeks?
1 month, maybe.
1 month? Tops? Maybe 35 days?
Possibly.
Okay, I'll give the guy some change.
Got to be better than that, what was it? Smack Talker, Skywalker...
Consequences Creed? I know I'm wrong, I just felt like saying it.
I can't go with the other innuendos for fear of getting blocked on this channel. But maybe now that they finally have Triple H doing things on 205 Live to make it relevant, and a new general manager by the name of Drake Maverick.
He runs a good ship on NXT. There hasn't been any problems there for quite some time. So.
Take a hint, Vince.
In good time, in good time. When Vince's time comes to meet the Maker, everything might... Okay, we're not going to go that far, but...
But this does leave one opening ever since they did this rebrand and brand shakeup. You know, Raw pushed to no end that the Cruiserweights were on Raw. That was the thing. And in this whole lead-up, they're gone. We didn't see them at all on Raw for a build-up. It was strictly 205 Live, so I wonder if Raw's just abandoned the Cruiserweight division entirely.
I guess it's to be a TBD, as we like to call that at this point.
I suppose it can't be a bad thing. I mean, they at least get to be their own entity.
This is very true. We shall have to find out soon enough.
Indeed. So, the first match I really want to talk about is the Intercontinental Triple Threat.
Yes, yes. I thought that was an excellent match.
A fantastic match. I don't even have a problem with the winner.
I don't either, whether it was Finn Balor or said winner, Seth Rollins.
I mean, Rollins put a beast amount of work in that gauntlet matchup where he lasted almost an hour. But, I mean, Rollins has his path set. He's the champ. He's got his program. Miz is going to go home and be a dad for a while, which is fine. He's earned it. Finn Balor doesn't have anywhere to go.
And you think you could enter him in the United States title picture, but the way that's been kind of tied up and tossed around as of late, there really isn't any direction. And I could tell at Mania when he came out, he literally, to me it seemed, out of those three in that match between The Miz, him and Seth Rollins, the least amount of pop. And that just goes to show when you really, really can screw a character over by how you book him.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that he came out in LGBT colors and we all know Vince has that standing?
I want to say no, but obviously what goes on behind the curtain and backstage with Vince, you're not going to know everything, so I'm not going to say yes or no at this point.
And by the way,
anything's possible.
And by the way, for those of you saying no, he doesn't, I'll remind you, Darren Young isn't here anymore.
Yes, yeah, he isn't here, and how's David Otunga doing?
Oh, he's a pre-show commentator.
All right, well...
I'm sure that says nothing for his future.
Not a bit. So... But yes, that match itself, I think, was one of the better ones on the card in terms of performance, which was expected, honestly.
I mean, you have to. Miz had built up a year of solid work, so you knew he was going to give his butt.
You have three of the best performers from the last year.
Rollins has been trying to reestablish himself, and...
Absolutely.
Frankly, I would have been fine with a one-on-one match. Throwing Balor in the way they did, and then having him be as inconsequential, didn't do him any favors.
No, didn't do him any favors, and honestly, the match itself, as well as he performed in the match, yes, having Seth Rollins against The Miz itself could have been a fine standpoint to begin and end with, so... But we'll have to see what happens and goes from here. The storyline that they want to book Seth Rollins with will be intriguing from the future on out. And I could see him holding that IC title for months. We've seen IC champions hold it for as little as a couple of weeks and as long as over a year. So we'll have to see and wait. I'm going to predict about 4 to 6 months, honestly.
I could see a 6. I'll say 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
I'll say 6 to 8 months.
That's respectable too.
But speaking of things that were good or things that made you feel good, I really did like seeing Cena as a fan. But then I really liked what Undertaker did to John Cena.
And the fact that Cena actually laid down for that, too, more or less. I mean, that kind of speaks volumes to where his ego's at, which is not, it's actually kind of low nowadays, it seems, from previous stories of years gone past.
He did himself a great job building up the egomaniac in the promos he was cutting on Taker before Mania, and then did what was necessary, showed the respect. And by the way, Vince, look at me. I'm not on my knees, but if you can visualize me dropping to my knees, if you're going to use Undertaker in any matches like this going forward, they need to be quick, decisive squashes so we can hide his limitations. Please, please, I beg you.
Basically, Vince, anything under 15 minutes is permissible, preferably 10.
I just don't want to see Taker get stretchered from the ring like he did in 27.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure backstage he's been laid up a time or 2 or 3 in the last several years, including at Manias. I mean, anybody that faces Brock Lesnar is probably
and gets a concussion.
Yeah, and gets a concussion.
And speaking of Brock Lesnar, I am so sick of Brock freaking Lesnar.
That's what he sounds like when he's taking his shit in the evenings.
Or mornings. Or afternoons.
Or, maybe if he hasn't for a few days, it's kind of the noise that comes out of the bathroom too. So I don't know whether it's, Beelzebub himself or whatever the case is at that rate.
Actually, that's what Andre would sound like when he was taking it.
Yeah, Andre probably would scare you even more at that rate. It'd probably sound
Many people were afraid of Andre's flatulence.
Getting back to Brock Lesnar, by the way, I hate to tell you, buddy, but I almost kind of called it with that. I felt like there was something going on behind the scenes there.
I mean,
I really did.
Yes, you did, and kudos to you for calling it the way you did. But you can't tell a story like they did with Roman Reigns. I'm sorry, fans. I know you hate him. The man works hard. The man busts his butt and continually gives you good matches week in and week out.
5 F5s, people. You have him kick out of 5 F5s only to lose the match.
And you got color. Something we don't see in modern PG WWE because, we can't show the red juice, no.
Vince got really aggravated about that backstage.
Imagine that.
I know, right? Brock just decides, I got a little pizzazz to this match, so pop, and then all of a sudden you see him bleeding, and then Roman goes, Samoa, I see blood, and, if he could, he'd throw the, Umaga spike, as I like to call it at that rate.
It's the only way Vince can get raging hard without Viagra.
Next time, before I take a break.
Almost got him.
Almost.
But the Superdome's really bad for streaks, isn't it?
Yes, exceptionally bad for streaks.
I mean, Undertaker lost it at 30, and then Asuka lost it this year.
Yes, she did.
To Charlotte.
And you know what? I'm actually okay with that because she is going to win that belt, but there is too much money to be made in that matchup moving forward.
I'm actually not okay with that.
Okay. Why so?
I mean,
what burns your loins about this in the non-sexual manner?
A lot of people say that Asuka being undefeated wrote her into a corner, and I get it. But in that case, it's the best possible corner to be wrote in. You're dominant. You are running through everybody and still giving competitive matches, unlike Brock Lesnar.
Yes,
but this, it deflates Asuka, not to the point of irredeemability, but I just feel like she shouldn't have lost until she had to lose the title.
Yes, and I can agree. In that standpoint, I can agree with it, yes. I'm not going to lie, a little bit of me burned up inside when I seen Asuka lose, and it's like, really? Charlotte again? Continuing to win like this again? I mean, they're literally, from her daddy's credo, she's literally being built as such, and she'll probably have 16 women's titles one day, too. But I think the way this is going to be a drawn-out storyline for a while.
Then all she needs is like 16 divorces, and she will literally be the female version of her daddy.
Basically, she's already had one, so...
Yeah. But to be fair, I mean, Bram is a bit of an a-hole, so...
Well, then again, I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see what other assholes she runs into. And quite honestly, I mean, let's face it, she might be a bit of an asshole, too.
So I have to ask, feel-good moment. Is it Undertaker coming back to get squashed by John Cena in 4 minutes? Or is it the 3-year retirement of Daniel Bryan to return to active competition?
I'm going to say neither one of those. I'm actually going to go out on a limb and say Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey. Anytime you have somebody beat Triple H and Stephanie McMahon on that grand a stage, that's 2 thumbs up from this guy.
I have to admit, the most rewatch moment is watching Stephanie squeal like a piggy once the armbar was
The simple
locked in.
fact that, yes, Ronda Rousey could totally just mangle her.
Anytime I want, this arm is my personal property.
You're damn straight on that. But that aside, I will have to say, seeing Undertaker just squash Cena, I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen Taker squash somebody in a main event match.
I can get that, but
Caliber.
But for me, just because of the way Daniel Bryan was taken from us, and the fact that I thought Taker had the exact retirement he wanted last year.
Yeah, obviously not.
Apparently not. I'm gonna give the edge to Bryan. I'm gonna go with the flying goat boy.
Plus the simple fact, Shane McMahon having diverticulitis on top of that.
That's true.
The combination of that match of those 2 guys coming out and putting on the performance they did. I mean, Daniel Bryan is not... He's only mid-30s. I mean,
he hasn't lost a step after 3 years. He looked as good as he ever looked.
Well, 3 years of rest will do that for somebody. Any
rest
athlete
and,
at any...
something else.
Calisthenics, we're going to stick to that.
Yes, that's it. I mean, that's totally what I meant to say.
Bedroom calisthenics. So,
yes,
future generations in production. Yes.
Did you know Daniel was training to be a golfer? He has a fantastic up and down game. Nikki told me so. Actually, it was Bree. I'm sorry, Bree.
Well, that explains why John Cena got cold feet.
That's what happened.
3 weeks ahead of time.
First on the rest
He like, damn it, the first one was taking all my money and cheated on me. Now this one, the hell with this. I'm just going to whore it up for the rest of the years. John Cena, if I was in your position too, and that actually legitimately happened, now, honestly, you're just an asshole. I can't believe you did that to her. But if that actually did happen, I'd say you're justified. But it didn't. What's up with that 3 weeks before, and all of a sudden goes, time out, the time is not now.
I wonder if someone else said, yes, John.
Well, apparently, according to you, Bree and Nikki like to share, so...
Sisters.
What a lucky bastard. That's all I gotta say at that point, so...
But, this Mania was good. It was a trudge. It made me do something I never thought I'd do. I watched the pre-show, I watched Mania, and I said, you know what? I'm going to DVR Raw this week. I don't need to watch this. I'm tapping out. The hardcore guys tapping out. I don't need more content.
You heard this. I don't endorse his actions, by the way, people. He is the wrestling guru, but every now and then you need to take a slight hiatus. We're not like Bill Belichick, where he's chanting at a championship parade, no days off, no days off. And everybody's looking at him going, dude, enjoy yourself. That's a whole nother matter.
Yeah, that's not wrestling, but you know what? I'll allow it. It stays here. But on the whole, if I were to grade WrestleMania, I would give it a B+ grade.
Well, hold on here. What did you think about Shinsuke and AJ? I thought very average. Given the 2 and the caliber and the hype and everything.
The match itself was average. I really think they could have done more if they were over in Japan, because they wouldn't have been under the WWE governance.
Yes, they could have done a few more things that weren't allowed.
But that heel turn by Shinsuke is what totally saved the match.
Yes.
He needs something to go forward. And the beautiful thing is, he doesn't have to change anything he does in character. He just has to be that slarmy foreigner heel that Vince loves to hate on anyway. So.
And it's worked over the years. It goes all the way back to, even for example, Jinder Mahal, Rusev. You have these characters all the way back to the Iron Sheik. It really started there.
Oh, yeah, Sheiky baby.
I mean, he's the one that really, basically the guy was getting death threats everywhere he went.
I put him in the camel clutch, I make him humble, I break his back, I break his fucking neck.
Humble.
He
tries to be. It doesn't work most of the time.
I can't do it.
So, you know what? And I'll have to say, congrats to Nia Jax. I always looked at her And I'm like, how is she not a champion yet before WrestleMania? How is this? I mean, she can dominate the division. She can literally break anybody that she wants to in that division.
I can answer as to why she wasn't a champion sooner, though. In my opinion, bro, in watching her mature through NXT, I really think they pushed her through that because of her size. I don't think she had the time to get as ready as she should have been. Fortunately, now she's matured, she's figured out what she's good at in the ring, and she's using it to the best of her abilities.
And she's a champ, so congrats to her.
And we finally got the title off Alexa Bliss,
That wasn't a
a.k.a. Lollipop Chainsaw.
Yep, and I could never really buy her as a believable champion. Sorry, Alexa, just I look at you and I go, you don't scream, I should have the belt around my waist. You just don't.
You just scream in the bedroom.
I was just going to leave it at scream, but
No, we can't do that.
Pervert man over here, basically, horn dog, whatever you want to call him.
I know what you're talking about. I have a problem.
Token pinky over here, I don't know.
Token pinky. That's for another story.
That's a whole nother story, ladies and gentlemen. And on top of everything, the Battle Royals, what about those? Participation trophies? Is that what they are? Because
that's exactly what it was.
Participation trophies.
I mean, think about this. We went from a bust of the fabulous Moolah to what has affectionately been referred to as the uterus trophy. And that's not something I came up with. WWE coined that stuff. So no, there's nothing to be gained because they haven't done anything with any of the Royal Rumble winners. Unless you count like 2 years after Cesaro did it, they finally made him a tag champ.
And immediately, it's really worked out well for him and Sheamus. Let's face it, Sheamus.
I mean, even before Sheamus.
Sheamus doesn't have anything else right now, as far as I'm concerned.
That's not true. He's really, really white.
You mean basically you fear for the life of him if he's out in any amount of sun. I mean, even the Highland sun in Scotland and England. I mean, Scotland and Ireland and England, the sun comes out maybe for like a fart in the wind every day.
Right.
And even that, I'd really fear for his UV protection at that point. That pigment in that skin is not made for the sun.
Oh, don't you know? They came out with a Sheamus sunblock.
What is that?
It blocks UVA, UVB, and the newly discovered UVC rays.
We call this SPF 500, people. 500.
5,000.
5,000. Let's just go 500,000 at that point while we're at it.
Do I hear a million?
Oh, yeah!
Dig it!
So,
I want a Slim Jim now.
Well, I don't have any of those here. So.
But anyway, what would you grade WrestleMania as, my esteemed colleague?
What would I grade it overall? I'm going to say A-. I thought it was very
A-.
good. I thought it was very solid.
The reason I say B+ is what was good was really good, and that made the parts that was really bad, really bad.
I could see that. Getting back on Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, you built Roman up for months, literally.
You built this thing on Monday night.
But the crowd reaction at the end, it was fantastic because they're like, yes, thankfully, it's not predictable. Wait, what? What just happened here?
Crap.
Wait,
we're still stuck with the champion.
The same thing they had at 30, you got a 34. The faces, everybody's like, what's going on here? Taker didn't lose. You didn't hear the bell.
Right.
Oh, shit. Oh, there's Brock's music. Ah!
5 F5s.
5. You know what? To me, I don't know where you stand on this, but you talked about it earlier, but that even really diminishes to me the value of the F5. One, if you're going to have a guy take that many F5s, you have him win. People, Vince, you have him win. I understand that you were able to sign Brock away. Now, Brock does have a clause to fight in the UFC a time or two if he'd like. Yes. He's going to be able to do both. As pissed off as they get at him, he's a great businessman. I understand if Roman is incensed right now because you know what? He's a flagship right now as far as I'm concerned. Mm-hmm. Really.
The only counter I can...
People may disagree with me and get pissed at me for that comment. That's okay.
The only counter I can give you as far as the devaluing of the F5... The only reason Roman kicks out of as many F5s as he did that night is because the script told him to.
Yeah, or basically early on in the match, ref goes, hey, Roman, you might need to kick out a couple more of these. Huh? I'm still going to win?
No.
Not tonight, bro. You're not wearing that belt.
But the reason the F5...
The old man said as much.
The reason the F5 isn't devalued is because if Brock steps in against anybody else, one, maybe two keeps him down.
No,
and
hands down.
It's not really affected. So.
It's very true. And when you had bloody Roman basically at that point, I mean that makes,
which got me fired up. I'm like,
oh yeah,
here comes the angry Samoan.
You know what
He's
though?
ready.
That match needed that end twist because honestly, it was going nowhere fast. The crowd didn't care. Anytime you start hearing CM Punk, we don't give a shit. That's basically what the crowd's saying.
Yeah, I miss CM Punk.
I wish he'd come back. Maybe one day. I don't believe within the next year or two, but maybe someday.
Perhaps once that event happens where somebody's in the ground like you talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Not before then, though.
It still might be some years off. It's still pretty good shape for a man of his
But
age.
never say never.
So
We could see Punk again, but anyway, that's our thoughts on WrestleMania. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, click that thumbs up. It really helps. If you don't want to miss a video by the Wrestling Ranter and this guy on occasion, you want to click that subscribe button and make sure that little bell icon is clicked to ring.
Click it over again. Get your friends to click it.
Click it.
Love and hate. You can hate them, you can love them, like, dislike, whatever the case is. Comments below, love and hate comments.
It's all wonderful here on the
All
Wrestling
for
Ranter
here.
channel.
And you know what? Honestly, yes.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Catch you later.